Some dope addicts are here.
Because, well, Halloween.
Actually, that's an anti-Halloween song.
Is it?
The point of that song is people say, why are you dressed like it's Halloween when it's July 1st? It's for the goths that dress.
Well, I'm going to stop fighting it. Every day's Halloween.
Well, that's their point.
The name of the song. Yeah.
I didn't mean I didn't mean anti-Halloween. I just mean it's
not specifically about Halloween.
There are people that dress that live that lifestyle all year long.
And Dead Kennedys have a song similar to that. Saying, you live your true self on Halloween. Why don't you do this every day? It's their Halloween song. It's the same thing.
I don't think of Ministry as being a band that has a sense of humor.
No.
But listen to the titles of some of their albums. The Land of Rape and Honey.
That's not funny.
The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste.
That's funny.
Dark Side of the Spoon.
That's funny.
There are others here. From Beer to Eternity.
Was that their romance album? That was a romance song.
It's their 13th studio album. Yeah.
All their love songs.
It was going to, here's another one, Moral Hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
So, for some reason, I didn't know they were from America. I thought they were like some Europe.
Because Al Jorgensen sounds like
they out of Chicago. That's where they're from, Chicago.
The Jorgensens from Chicago?
Yeah, sure. His dad was a accordion player.
Actually, Al, he's Cuban.
Cuban, really? Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound like a Cuban name, does it?
No, it does not.
It's sort of an interesting saga if you go to
he was born
Wikipedia and read the history of Ministry.
Al was born in Cuba.
Okay.
Al Jorgensen, not his real name, obviously. His name was Alejandro Ramirez.
Why'd he change it to? Well, okay.
Now I'm looking at a picture of him. He looks Cuban.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you think of industrial music as being like German, like it feels like it should be
Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
To this day, when I saw Ministry live, and it was outdoors, I was sitting pretty close to the stage. It was the most assault. It was it was just an assault on my senses completely.
Will you quickly carry to illustrate Bill's point? Play New World Order.
All right.
I mean, I couldn't. I almost couldn't take it. It was so, and I could feel like any loose flesh on my body vibrating. Yep. And I don't usually put in earplugs, but has any earplugs? Anybody got some earplugs? And man, it was. I mean, it's part of the point of their stuff is to assault you with the music, and
it might just be NWO.
It is.
I heard New World Order for the first time riding in the back of a car with a record weasel in England.
Cool.
And he said, "I got this new music. You want to hear it?"
Yeah.
I love this.
We got to throw this into the Gen X weekend that is happening this week.
Todd, are you listening?
The radio really can't do it justice in a way, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way it sounds, but live, man.
I'm sure.
This is from...
I've never seen them live.
Again, the sense of humor. This is from a trilogy of albums dedicated to George Bush.
Yeah, well, George Bush is in this.
Yeah, New World Order. The name of those three albums are Houses of Mole, Rio Grande Blood, and The Last Sucker.
Yep.
God, that's so good.
They're so angry. They're just so angry. I don't.
Yeah.
Why do they have to be so angry?
Of course, New World Order is what George Senior Bush.
Mm-hmm. New World Order.
We're going to have 1,000 points of light and a New World Order. Okay.
A New World Order.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Where's ministry when we need them?
Now, actually, this is from their album, Psalm 69, The Way to Succeed and the Way to Suck Eggs.
Jeez. They're just silly.
They're just kidding around.
They're just so angry, though.
Man, I loved that show. And he didn't move around a lot.
He didn't move around
He just screamed the lyrics into the microphone. Used a megaphone a lot of times, too.
Oh. Well, there you go. That's some...
This has been Farting Around with Carrie, Bill, and Gina on X96, Radio from Hell.
Just add that to my Antifa playlist.
Yeah, that kind of music makes my mouth go dry. I don't know why that is.
Well, Bill, perhaps you need some Mill Creek coffee.
Yeah, Mill Creek
Bill
coffee.
Creek coffee.
Mill Creek coffee would do it. We're going to take a break here, I guess.
Yes.
And then we'll come back, and you want to talk about ministry, 877-602-9696, or maybe you want to talk about your ministry. Who are you ministering to?
Do you need to be ministered?
Yeah. Do we need to send the ministers over? Do we need to send somebody to anoint you? 877-602-9696 is the number. And we like to hear from relatively new listeners. And I would classify a new listener to this show anybody,
if we've been
5
around,
years and less.
Yeah, 30-plus years of this show. 5 years or less.
Maybe 5 years or less. That's a new listener. Call us, 877-602-9696, and we might have a welcome gift for you when you check in with us. You can also text 33986, but there would be no gift for you.
No, sorry.
Be a part of the...
Now, I saw this story today, and
Is that the one I was going to mention earlier?
The headline is, Creator of the Labradoodle calls it Frankenstein's monster.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. This was my dog. His name was Tippy.
Now, I know a Labradoodle.
I know several.
That is a lovely dog.
I know several Labradoodles.
Okay.
Or golden doodles. That's another kind of doodle, but
Maybe this is a golden doodle, I know.
This is the Labradoodle specifically. I'll read you this. An Australian man who created the world's first Labradoodle says he regrets creating the popular hybrid breed, claiming in a recent interview that the majority of the dogs are, quote, either crazy or have hereditary problems. Wally Conran bred the first Labradoodle, a cross between a poodle and a Labrador retriever, in 1989 for a blind woman who couldn't have a guide dog because her husband was allergic to the dog hair.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Fast forward 3 decades, which I didn't realize they'd been around that long, but the Labradoodle's become one of the most popular mixed breed dogs in the world, a fact that doesn't sit so well with the man who made them. I opened Pandora's box and released the Frankenstein's monster, said Conran. He fears people are overbreeding the dog, creating versions of their own, including Groodles.
What's that?
Well, this says golden retrievers and poodles. I always thought that was a
I thought that's
golden doodle.
Golden doodle.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's Groodle. Golden doodle sounds better, but
Spoodles.
Spaniel poodle.
Spaniel poodle.
Spoodles!
I find the biggest majority are crazy or have hereditary problems. I have met some damn nice Labradoodles, but they're few and far between. He spent 3 years trialing more than 30 poodles as guide dogs because their hair was hypoallergenic, but they didn't have the right temperament. They're damn cute dogs.
They are. I wish they would do one that tastes like cotton candy.
But they're everywhere. They are.
Well, and apparently we haven't known that they're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the one I know, I don't know him well, but it belongs to Luba and Nome. His name is Leo because he looks like a lion.
Is he? So I think he's a golden doodle.
Maybe so. He's got floppy ears. I'm looking at pictures here. I don't know. They look sort of the same to me. But he's got that curly hair though.
Well, that's the poodle. That's the oodle part of it.
The oodle.
That's why they do it. Is they don't shed, and usually poodles are good for people.
I don't remember which one he is, but he's a very nice dog.
But I want to say on the record that I don't go for the doodle.
No doodle?
No,
You don't like
have
the doodles?
I have a golden retriever. I have the old school dog. I don't cotton to the mixing of oodles and doodles.
Are you a racist?
No,
You're a
I'm
racist. This is misogynist. You're a misogynist. That's what you are. You don't believe in mixing of the races.
I'm a goldist.
Hannah says, Labradoodles are so hyper, they chew on everything. My friend's Labradoodle chewed up a medical pill bottle, and their cat ate the pills and died.
Now,
See, they are crazy.
Now, this Labradoodle, I guess he is, Leo, he does like to chew stuff, but they have plenty of chew toys there for him. And he's very well behaved.
Ooh, I had a golden doodle, and it had a lot of health issues. I had to put it down in the end. So sad.
And I think part of the problem is they're overbreeding them now because they're super and you can get the minis.
Oh, see, now that's more my
The mini.
yeah.
Lab.
I like little dogs.
Yeah.
Playing God, though.
Yep.
That we have a sponsor here, I believe, and then we'll officially begin the program. And I see a bunch of people want to check in. All the lines are busy. 877-602-9696, though, if you'd like to keep trying. Gina?
Advantage U Signature PPO is a Medicare Advantage plan created in Utah with access to a huge network of doctors and hospitals, including University of Utah Health, Steward, Mountain Star, and Intermountain Healthcare. To see if Advantage U is right for you, visit AdvantageUMedicare.com.
Well, what we're experiencing right now with the moon is a new moon. It's 0.0% percent of full, but that means it's now starting to wax toward fullness, and we'll have a full moon on November 8th. The moon, what there is of it, will rise today at 8:02 a.m., today being Tuesday. It's the 25th day of October in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2022. It's 14 days until the midterm elections, and this is the New World Order edition of the Radio from Hell show, starring the Lords of Morning Radio, Comrade Kerry Jackson, Comrade Bill Allred, Comradess Gina Barberi. Is that a female comrade? I don't know. Gina Barberi right over there. Katie for short is our producer, and she's back here after...
Is she still for short? I thought she changed her last name.
It's Mrs. for short. Her husband took her name. And we have Dawson and Cameron Diaz helping out. It's National Chucky the Notorious Killer Doll Day. That's for Ed Brass. And Punk for a Day, celebrating punk music today.
Oh, nice.
All right? So check-ins?
All right, we will begin with Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Morning. Thanks for letting me listen.
Mm-hmm.
Geek Show says hey.
Hey.
And Gina, I believe in you. You got this.
Oh,
Adam's got your back, Gina.
There you go.
Adam's your wingman.
thanks, Adam.
So, kind of interesting with ministry today because yesterday, Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys started a podcast and
Really?
launched the first episode. And his first guest was
Al?
Al Jorgensen.
Oh, do we lose Adam?
I think
We
Adam.
lost Adam.
Adam. No, he's gone.
Are you there?
Oh,
There you are. Okay.
You're back.
His first guess was.
Al Jorgensen
Oh,
of ministry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There
very
we
much.
go.
And what did they talk about?
I bet they talked about Thousand Homo DJs, their side project.
Oh, yes.
They talked about Lard, their other side project.
Lard.
They talked about just growing up, how their music journeys and that.
Uh-huh.
They were kids once? I don't believe it.
What's the name of the podcast, Adam?
It is Jello Biafra's Rebellion Roundtable.
Okay.
Rebellion
Rebellious
Round-
Roundtable.
All right.
We'll have to check it out.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, it was a great little show. You'll love it.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right. Let's go to
Everybody has a podcast.
Eric is here.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, Eric.
How you doing? I just wanted to call and talk about Al Jorgensen.
Sure.
Had a chance to interview him a couple times, and he's a great guy.
How did this come about, Eric?
I have an online magazine that's called Brutal Planet Magazine, and I do interviews, concert reviews, photos, concert photos, and so I had a chance to talk to him a couple times. He's got a new album out, came out year before last. It's called American KK Can't.
Oh, yeah, I
And,
saw that written down here. Yeah.
And my favorite song on there is I Know Words.
I know words.
I know words. I have the best words. It's a Trump thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Hey, Eric.
So you know who he hates.
Who?
Yeah.
Yes, I can guess. Yeah. Eric, say the name of your magazine again so that you can promote it.
Oh, Brutal Planet Magazine.
Brutal or brittle?
Brutal.
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 Okay.
Brutal Planet Magazine. We're out of Salt Lake, but I have writers all over the country, and we cover all kinds of shows.
Cool.
Last week we did Five Finger Death Punch and Megadeth, and
Okay.
I do a lot of shows.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna. So it's an online magazine only, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll look it up. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Eric.
And Gina, anytime Gina wants to do a battle of the 80s music, I would love to do battles of the 80s
okay.
music.
Well,
It's a challenge.
we'll have to devise some kind of
It is,
mechanism,
it is.
some kind of gameplay for
Especially
that.
hair metal. Especially hair metal.
Eric, we're going to put you on hold. Would you leave your contact information?
With Katie?
With Katie?
I will.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to Zane. Hello, Zane.
Hi. You guys said that you wanted new listeners.
Yes.
New listeners.
Yeah. Tell us about
Yeah.
how you found us and how long you've been listening.
My mom introduced me to this show. So I started listening to Geek Show, and then my mom was like, "You would like Radio from Hell," and I was just listening live. And she doesn't listen live; she listens through the podcast.
I see.
How old are you, Zane?
I'm 16.
And how long have you been listening? How long ago did your mother say, "Try this out"?
About a month ago.
Oh, you're
really?
very new.
Wow.
Well,
Now,
you
what's-
deserve a prize
Yeah.
for that, Zane.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think.
We'll give you a prize. So what do you think of it, Zane?
It's fantastic. I quite enjoy it.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you. We're glad you do. And we'll see if we can corrupt you as soon as possible.
We will.
Oh, no.
I'm sure we will.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll get you thinking all liberally and,
His mom's already there, so he
Mom's
gets it
there.
at home too.
You got one of those cool moms? Does she give beer to all the kids in the neighborhood?
No.
That does not make a
But
cool
she's
mom.
Yeah, it does in my book.
Tell you what, Zane, hang on the line. We'll get you one of our Radio from Hell book bags. And inside the book
Okay.
bag will be your new pronouns. That'll be part of the...
All right?
All right? Hang on.
Thanks, Zane.
Thanks, Zane.
Tell your mom hi.
All right.
Say hello to your mother.
Say hello to your mother.
Let's see. Metal Shop Mark. It's very windy in Tooele. Teacher Emily checking in, starting poetry with creative writing class today.
And I want to go back to that class.
They'll hate it.
No, they'll love it.
Poetry? Nobody likes poetry.
That's not true.
Gina?
You liked it?
I love poetry.
See?
But, Gina, if you did a survey, maybe 1 out of 10 people would say, oh, yeah, I like poems.
If you have a cool teacher that can teach you poetry in an interesting, different way that you haven't thought about.
Mm-hmm. Like that guy on Dead Poets Society.
Yeah. Or like using music lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Like using,
because that's poetry.
I'm not disputing.
If you have the right teacher, you can get kids to surprisingly enjoy poetry.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm not disputing that. All I said was most of the kids will end up going, no matter what.
Tim the Tree Guy checking in, enjoying the weather change. Let it rain. Joe Dirt checking in from Wenatchee, Washington, apple capital of the world.
It's apple season.
Yeah.
Let's see. Curious if Bill says of full or a full when talking about the moon.
40% of full.
It is 40% of full, I say.
Not a full. Let's see. Playmore Ministry.
I might say 40% of full. That's I bet that's what I do, but I mean of.
Johnny B checking in. I have some interior walls to build at my place. I'm glad I walled them during the framing process. The lumber I got yesterday was a third of the price than it was last spring.
You know, Johnny, I feel like we're building this damn house with you.
Yes. It's a journey.
Where's my hammer?
Traffic.
Well, both Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons have light snow falling in the upper elevations. No restrictions, just something to be aware of if that's part of your commute. And you might see some rain a little bit. There's a slight chance of some showers this morning. Probably not the icy conditions you were dealing with down in Lehigh, though, today. That should be better. If you're seeing something that's not better, that needs adjusting, that needs attention, you can text us 33986. Make life easier. Learn to cook. Park City Culinary has short, affordable programs, part-time courses, night classes for busy people like you. Learn more at parkcityculinaryinstitute.com.
All right, so we'll take a break. We'll be back. Big boy news and a Pinuendo after the Easeful Strength. Coming up, we'll also tell you about Katie's wedding. Boner of the day coming up. All kinds of things. Stand by for all of that. Wendy's for breakfast. This is your delicious order of the morning. You are compelled to go to Wendy's. Start your morning with the $3 breakfast deal. They're probably opening up right about now. Choose between the bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant or the sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant. I'll take the sausage, please. Thank you. And you'll also get a small seasoned potatoes on the side for just $3. And this features the fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, savory sausage, the spices in their sausage. I shouldn't say spices. I should say the seasoning. Seasoning, that's the word I'm looking for. Is just superior to all the others. And then you get the hot and crispy potatoes. Along with that, you get it all, and it's only $3 because behind every great deal at Wendy's is an even greater breakfast. This is for a limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours, the $3 breakfast deal. You can order at the drive-thru or download the Wendy's app and order that way. It's your choice. Wendy's.
All of the Beat Gina topics have been specifically chosen for their relevance and entertainment value, and all of the answers have been thoroughly vetted and researched, and anyone who says different is itching for a fight. And now, let's welcome the host of Beat Gina. He's the sharp-witted and fashion-forward man of the hour, the one and only, because they broke the mold when they made him.
Ooh.
Kerry Jackson.
Thank you, Johnny.
You're welcome, Kerry Jackson.
Thanks for coming up out of the basement to keep score with us.
You're welcome.
Every Thursday.
My pleasure.
All right, let's. We do have a full phone bank, but during the break we talked about who we're going to pick to be a contestant, and Gina has decided that Hank is going to be the contestant. Thanks for the other two people who called. We appreciate it. Hank said that if Gina beats him, that he will go to Squatters, just a block away from us.
Moochie's.
There,
It's
Moochie.
Moochie's.
Oh, was it Moochie's? I thought it was
It's
Squatters. Okay.
Moochie's, meatballs and more.
Several locations of Moochie's. Yes.
Several locations of Moochie's, meatballs, and more.
All right. Well, thank you, Hank. All right, Hank. The movie is Hocus Pocus. That's the trivia topic. And how we determine who goes first is a simple coin toss. So I would like you to tell me heads or tails, and I'll use the coin toss app to determine it.
Let's go heads.
Heads. All right, let's see what happens. All right, coin toss app says heads. You go first.
Oh,
All right.
man.
That gives you an advantage in the game, Hank. Here's how it works. Your question goes first. You get a chance to answer it exclusively with no interference. If you get it right, you get the point. If you get it wrong, Gina gets a chance to answer it and steal your point away. We'll go back and forth until we have somebody with 3 points. That will be the winner of the game. All right, here we go. Hank, here's your question.
The excitement is so thick you can cut it with a spoon.
Hank, what was the final ingredient for the life-sucking potion? What was the final ingredient for the life-sucking potion? Was it A, a chocolate coating? The chocolate coating makes it go down easier. B, eyes of newt. C, a bit thine own tongue. Or the final ingredient for the life-sucking potion, D, open the schools. Masks or muzzles. Do your research, sheeple.
Let's go B.
B, eyes of newt. Incorrect, Gina.
C.
C, a bit thine own tongue. There you go.
Well, the score is 1-0 for Gina, and Gina controls the question. A chance to sort of really command the game with this one.
All right, let's pick a good one here for Gina. All right, here we go. What do the sisters use to fly after their brooms are stolen? What do the sisters use to fly after their brooms are stolen? Was it A, a single-engine Piper Cub powered by a tremendous sense of self-satisfaction? B, a broom, a mop, and a vacuum? C, a Swiffer sweeper, a Swiffer wet jet, and a Swiffer duster? Product placement is key. Or D, took a cab?
That'd be B.
Oh, a broom, a mop, and a vacuum. Very good.
All right, it's 2-0 for Gina. Hank now controls the question. Hank has a chance to get back into the game with this one.
All right, Hank, let's go here. What was the name of the high school that Max and Allison attends? What was the name of the high school? Was it A, Rydell High School, B, Halloween Town High, C, East High, or D, Jacob Bailey High School?
Oh, man. Let's go B.
B, Halloween Town High?
Yeah.
That is incorrect, Gina.
Well, it's not Rydell, of course. That's the Grease High School. Everybody knows that. Is it D?
D, Jacob Bailey High School is correct, and by golly.
Well, it was a sweep. I'm sorry, Hank. Sorry, Hank. You screwed the pooch, as they say.
Yeah. My bad.
0 points.
You guys are the best.
Oh, Hank, you're going to go to Moochie's, right, and get some lunch? Get some
yes.
meatballs
Yes.
or more?
Get the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls, I'm telling you. Delicious.
I'll try
if
those.
you're going to do that, Hank, why don't we
But now I'll try them.
why don't we give you a tote bag so you have something to carry all your meatballs in? How about that?
Well, no, he's gonna.
Thank you, Gina.
Gina, he's going to go before he'll ever be able to get the toad back, I hope.
Well, there will be meatballs in the future that need to be toted.
It's
Thank you, guys.
It's often cloudy with a chance of meatballs. All right, I'm gone. Goodbye, Hank. Nice hearing your voice, Hank.
Thank you, Hank.
Hang on the line, Hank, and I'm going to go away now.
We'll get you on hold, and you can. We'll get your information for the tote bag. That I hid.
Why did you hide them?
I'm kidding.
He's your old friend.
He's our old friend Howard.
We've broken bread with him at his house in England.
Good guy.
Yeah, he was very nice. Very, very charming host with a lovely wife. Jan, will you get some crumpets and tea for the boys?
And his vegan dog.
Yeah, that's right.
He has a vegan dog.
Well, he is vegan as well.
And so the dog was vegan.
Yeah.
Did the dog get a choice in this?
Well, the dog lives in Howard's house, and so there you go.
When you live under my roof, you're vegan.
I think you put some meat on the floor and some vegetables on the floor and let the dog decide what it wants.
If you put some meat and vegetables on the floor, Howard would get on the floor.
True. All right.
Let the dog decide.
6:40 right now. Big boy news and opinioendo. Full strength. Brought to you by.
Become a nurse in just 32 months at Nightingale College, blending online classes with on-ground supervised field experience. Virtual college, actual nursing. Start your nursing journey at nightingale.edu. Now accepting enrollments for spring semester.
Tragedy. One of a kind. An original. He will be missed. Taken away by Frank Christ, our celebrity reaper.
Frank is catching hell for this one.
Leslie Jordan, a comic actor who, after a late start in his performing career, became a recognizable face from roles on numerous television shows, most notably Will and Grace, but he achieved more fame during the pandemic when his quirky homemade videos attracted millions of Instagram followers.
He's very funny.
He died on Monday in a car crash in Hollywood. He was 67.
I think he had a medical incident and then crashed, like he had a heart attack and then crashed.
It says here, he apparently experienced some sort of medical emergency. I've read here a couple of places where it says versatile actor. I would take. He's always the same guy in everything I've ever seen him do. Very nice, very great character, and really just always came across as sweet.
Southern gentleman.
Very sweet and very.
He had a small part in this Alan Tudyk series called Con Man, where he was talking about underwear with Alan Tudyk.
And he was only 67 years old. And I'm sorry, but L.A. jurors, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes when you're doing the Harvey Weinstein trial. And apparently his genitalia will be crucial evidence in the prosecution's case against him in Los Angeles, where the toppled titan, it says here, is on trial for sexually assaulting 5 women. During opening statements on Monday, Deputy District Attorney Paul Thompson described to jurors how several women who have accused Weinstein of assault have identified that there are some unique things about his body after he had surgery in 1999. I'm not going to read what it is. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it has to do with his testicles.
That's already more information than I.
Well, just thank your lucky stars that you are not on the jury, Gina, because you'd have to be looking at pictures of that stuff. And Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid from Harry Potter, fine actor, wonderful person who died recently. Now they've released the cause of his death, and it's pretty much he died of everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like his body rose up and killed him.
Several medical conditions, diabetes, sepsis, on and on and on.
Organ failure, multiple organ failure.
Yeah. Well, the latest school shooting. 19-year-old gunman opened fire at a St. Louis school yesterday, killing 2 people, injuring several others. He was armed with a long rifle, a long gun, and nearly a dozen high-capacity magazines, enough ammunition for a much worse situation, said Police Commissioner Michael Sack. Authorities credited locked doors and a quick police response, including by off-duty officers, for preventing more killings at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. This could have been much worse, Sack said. The individual had about a dozen 30-round high-capacity magazines on him. That's a lot of victims there.
Yep.
Still, he said, what happened is tragic, of course, for the victims' families and the community. There was a 15-year-old girl killed at the scene. A 61-year-old woman was pronounced dead at the hospital. The gunman died at the hospital after a gun battle with police. That means at least 67 shootings on school grounds this year alone in the United States. 67. And here at home in Hooper, the Weber County Sheriff's Office is investigating after more than a dozen gunshots rang out in Hooper early Sunday morning. Deputies said it happened around 2:45 a.m., and when they got to the scene, people were seen fleeing. Some people were detained, according to deputies. These people were very uncooperative with our investigation, said Lieutenant Colby Ryan with the Weber County Sheriff's Office. They wouldn't give us any information and wouldn't provide witness statements. Neighbors heard gunshots. They described the incident as terrifying. I had just started dozing off to go to sleep, and I heard some cars racing down the road, said Sherry, who did not want to share her last name. And then I heard several gunshots fired. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. Not long after, spotlights were shining into our window right there where we have our newborn sleeping right next to us. According to deputies, there were no injuries reported and no property damage. Apparently, the gunshots, they were fired into the air. They say the incident appeared to be between people at a party, a nearby party. The house where the party was held is known to deputies as being a place where trouble collects. Apparently, there was a Halloween party going on, and some people that were not invited showed up, and then it started to get ugly. Firearms don't stay in the evidence locker forever, once they're seized by the cops. And in Utah, they could end up back on the street due to a law that was passed by the legislature that bans police departments from destroying firearms unless there's a specific cause for it. How about it was committed it was used to commit a crime, and we don't want it back on the street? Isn't that a specific
good enough
cause?
for me. Boy, the legislature needs more power, don't they? State law
mandates that seized and unclaimed guns must be stored or, with the approval of the city council, sold to gun dealers. In August, the South Salt Lake City Council unanimously approved such a request from the South Salt Lake Police Department to sell over 100 of their guns because there's no room in the storage lockers anymore.
So destroy them.
Yes. The profits will be spent on things that the council will deem as public interest use.
I heard a criminal justice professor talk about gun control the other day, and he said something really interesting. He was on a more conservative show.
Okay.
More conservative than this one?
Yes.
Well, that's every show.
Huh.
And
NPR is more conservative than we are.
The host of that show put out the thing that we've all heard. The United States has too many guns. They're already out there. The horses left the barn. There are too many guns out there already. Gun control would not do any good because the guns are already out there.
Yeah.
And the professor said, everybody has to acquire their first gun. Mm-hmm. Like there were kids growing up and turning 18 all the time.
14.
But I mean, to get to go buy a gun.
Yeah.
So using the excuse of, well, the guns are out there already, so why gun control won't do anything? It'll do things for those kids that are turning of age, and if we raise that age to 21, that means a whole group of kids that aren't going to be able to get a gun until they're a little bit older and a little bit more mature. That argument that gun control it's too late for that, it's wrong.
Here, this is about this gun sale. Some of the guns being sold have been involved in serious crimes. For example, a handgun that was held to a woman's head in the front yard of her home, a shotgun which was used by a young man in a 2016 suicide, and a Ruger used during an alleged 2017 rape. But the state legislature says you can't destroy those weapons.
Perfectly good gun.
Those are perfectly good. Why would you do that? The January 6th trial of a far-right extremist group leader and 4 associates charged in the attack on the Capitol was delayed Monday because Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes has tested positive for coronavirus. Jurors were supposed to begin hearing the 4th week of testimony in the case against Stuart Rhodes and 4 others accused of plotting to stop the transfer of power from the Republican President Donald Trump to the Democrat Joe Biden. Gina, you'll find this interesting. This is for you. Scott Peterson has been moved off death row more than 2 years after the California Supreme Court overturned his death sentence for killing his pregnant wife.
He totally killed his pregnant wife.
Some 20 years ago. Yeah, I know. He was found guilty. Yeah. So there's no dispute about that, Gina. Peterson was moved last week from San Quentin State Prison, north of San Francisco, to Mule Creek State Prison, east of Sacramento. A new mugshot shows Peterson, who is now 50, with salt and pepper stubble, compared to previous clean-shaven look. Jurors imposed the death penalty after convicting Peterson of the first-degree murder of Lacey Peterson. She was pregnant at the time.
Hugely pregnant.
Unborn son they were going to name Connor. He'll be in jail for the rest of his life. Your paycheck next year will be affected by inflation. It's going to get smaller. Thanks, Biden. Thanks, Joe Biden.
It's not his...
Worldwide inflation.
Inflation is taking bigger and bigger bites out of your wallet, and now it's going to affect the size of your paycheck, even if you get a sizable raise next year.
That's funny.
Yeah. Maybe they'll just give us some back. I don't know.
No.
You won't necessarily take home more money. Many ingredients are baked into the recipe that produces your take-home pay, like deductions, taxes, health care benefits, and your contributions to your retirement accounts. Whether you will see more money in your paycheck, less or about the same, will depend on your circumstances, but odds are you'll be seeing a little bit less.
Meanwhile, corporate profits are through the roof.
Yeah.
They've never seen profit like this before.
And one final story. Your Halloween candy this year will be smaller.
I've noticed that.
Not just because of inflation. Retailers began stocking Halloween candy in August, and portion sizes aren't what they once were. Part of the shrinking is due to inflation, the Washington Post reported, but it's also the result of a years-long campaign to reduce calories.
Really?
In America's treats. Also known as shrinkflation, the phenomenon of goods getting smaller but not cheaper isn't new, per CNBC, but it has surged in recent months, impacting the cost of everything from gas to food and now Halloween candy. Thanks, Joe Biden.
He didn't...
Okay, that's it.
The president has control over Halloween candy now.
Apparently, there's no other explanation for the candy getting smaller.
It was in the story you just read.
Well, that's because Joe Biden has made those companies
He's
do
made
that.
those companies
Yes.
do that? The president has control over
That's
that?
what QAnon's telling me. Sports weather traffic?
Oh, the Jazz lost. Now, a couple weeks ago, you would have been like, yeah, of course they did. No, they've been winning, but it's okay. It's okay. And it was close, 114-108.
Who'd they lose to?
Houston.
Oh.
And they're going to play Houston again this week, so they get a chance to make up for that. Tomorrow, actually, 7 o'clock will be that game. Monday Night Football, the Bears and the Patriots. The Bears won 33-14. And Arizona gubernatorial nominee Kari Lake
is insane.
So the Super Bowl is supposed to be in Arizona.
Okay.
And she says if she's elected governor and the NFL gets in the way of her plans to put armed National Guard troops at the border.
Why would the...
What, were they going to station football players down?
No, the NFL has said if you take action like that, we will consider moving the Super Bowl to somewhere else because this has happened with the NBA and with baseball. And,
all right.
And she said, I don't care. I don't care if we lose the Super Bowl.
Okay. Lose all that money then.
I've got a point to make.
She says she's citing fentanyl. This woman just says stuff.
I know, but the fentanyl thing it's a made-up thing.
Yeah, here's what she said.
They're not bringing fentanyl over the border.
She said, you want to tell me that a bunch of football teams owned by billionaires are okay with fentanyl pouring across our border at a record level, killing young people? She says, quote.
No. Fentanyl is coming over the border, yes. But it's not your kids' Halloween candy.
And she says it's the number one killer of kids, people 18 to 45. No, it's not.
Suicide is.
It's not the number one killer.
The Daily Beast says Carrie Lake might be president someday.
Thanks, Daily Beast, for just making me dread the future.
Thanks, Daily Beast.
That's your sports.
Weather. No, this Halloween candy fentanyl thing has gotten way out of hand.
People are not passing out fentanyl for Halloween candy.
It's just not happening.
No, they're using it for themselves. You don't give it away.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
And the whole, even if you touch it, you'll die. How are they making it? If that's the case.
I was in the room where it existed. And
yeah.
Let's see. So there's a little storm coming through this morning. You might see part of it on your commute. I know there was a little bit of snow up in the canyons. Might be a little bit of rain down here in the valley. But it's warmer this morning than it was yesterday. So all that icy condition that particularly you were seeing in Utah County, Lehigh, probably not going to be dealing with that. But you might be dealing with some wet roads. High of 50 today. Same tomorrow, 70% chance of some more rain, snow mix, depending on where you are. And then looks like by Thursday we clear things up. But we stay pretty cool. Highs in the upper 40s to low 50s, it looks like. Traffic, let me refresh this. We had reports of a little bit of snow up in Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. Not really affecting traffic up there, though. And as I'm looking at the UDOT cameras, looks much better than it did yesterday morning. Everybody was surprised by that ice northbound I-15 coming out of Utah County. Looks like that's not an issue this morning, but if you see an issue you want to share with friends of the program, you can text it into us, 33986. X96 welcomes Shredfest November 5th and 6th at Liberty Park. Shredfest featuring Jai Wolf, Hayden James, and more. The annual two-day festival in the heart of Salt Lake City. Reel, rail, snow jam, music, lumberjacks, beer fest, food trucks, vendor village, fundraising, and more. You can get information at x96.com, and you can win tickets right now. Just text the word SHRED, S-H-R-E-D, SHRED, to 33986.
Thank you very much. All right.
Carrie, do we have 1 second here?
Sure.
About fentanyl coming across the border.
Yes.
This is from the Washington Post. One line of political rhetoric that's proved particularly popular at the midterm elections goes something like this. President Biden's open border policy has allowed dangerous drugs like fentanyl to flood into the country, imperiling our children. The evidence for this is often patchy, with Republicans, generally the people articulating this line of argument, often pointing to things like drug seizures as evidence that those are seizures. Drugs generally stopped at the border don't seem to derail the argument. After all, the same rhetorical trick is applied to immigrants themselves. But there's another point worth drawing. The seizures of fentanyl are a dubious metric, not only because those drugs will not be sold in the United States, they're being carried by people who want to use them.
Yeah.
But also because of where and how those seizures occur, usually at border checkpoints.
Meaning it's working.
And often it's U.S. citizens that have the fentanyl.
I love the tweets from the Republicans that say, pounds of fentanyl were stopped and these terrorists were stopped at the border. Way to go, Biden. And I'm like, yes, way to go. He stopped them from coming in. You're not owning Biden with that tweet.
Yeah. So most of the and most of the fentanyl seized at the U.S.-Mexico border is in the possession of Americans.
Yeah.
American citizens.
All right. Let's talk about Katie's wedding after this. How
Okay.
about that instead?
That was a nice thing to talk about.
Yeah. KXRK Provo. We'll talk about that coming up. And we also have your boner of the day. Stand by for all of that. RenaissanceRanch.com.
There is the Renaissance Ranch is a place that you can get help if you're suffering from addiction, or maybe it's somebody in your family that you love is struggling with addiction, and it's a serious problem. If you're experiencing it yourself, you know how bad it can be, or you watch your family members decline. Well, Renaissance Ranch is the help you need. It's Renaissance Ranch Addiction Treatment Center. The program is designed for male patients specifically, and it combines evidence-based clinical research and a judgment-free, faith-based healing approach. They have residential and outpatient services as well at Renaissance Ranch. And the staff, most of them are recovering addicts themselves, so they know what you're going through. They have great empathy for your condition. So it really is an amazing local, family-owned program. Renaissance Ranch, they know addiction battle is hard, but the help is there. Schedule a free consultation at renaissanceranch.com.
Real alternative.
right, 7:03.
Our producer, Katie, for short, is in the studio, and she got married over
I'm back, yeah.
over
I
the
told you
weekend.
I'd come back married, and I'm married.
Did you change your last name, Katie?
Yeah, we did, completely.
Okay, so
we
what
told
is
you
it?
about this forever ago instead of taking his name because I didn't want his last name. And there's too many Joneses. We changed our last name to Solo.
Like legally.
Like
That's
legally,
your
we are
legal
changing
name.
our last name to Solo. Yes.
Katie, Mr. and Mrs. Solo.
Yes.
S-O-L-O.
S-O-L-O.
Well, it was a lovely wedding, but I just have to say,
It was cold?
I haven't received my thank you card for the gift yet.
Let's be honest here.
Why haven't you sent out my thank you
I
card
almost
yet?
brought them. I'm not even kidding. I almost brought your thank you cards. So I was like, well, it might be easier to do this, but they're not done.
It's now up in so we're in Mill Creek Canyon, and it's rainy and snowy and cold. How did you feel about all of that? Because it was largely, a lot of it was outdoors.
Well, so I knew it was going to rain. I didn't know how badly it was going to rain. I woke up that morning and I looked outside and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, great. We're going to have rain no matter what. There's nothing I can do about it. Hopefully it's not too bad. We get up there, we start getting set, and it starts downpouring. And I was like, oh, no. I don't know how they're going to do this. I didn't know if they had tents for the guests to do the ceremony. Like, I had no idea what they had because they were like, oh, well, we're expecting like really light rain. And I was like, okay, but like, what's our backup plan here? And then it started downpouring, and I was like, well, it is what it is. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to go hide in my room. And I went and hid in the bridal room.
I mean, that's a good attitude because there are brides that would have had a meltdown.
Complete
about
and total,
that.
yeah.
And then I looked outside in the bridal room and I realized it was snowing. And I was like, okay, well, better snow than torrential downpour of rain. Because at least it's a little less wet. It's going to be a little bit colder, but, at least it could be worse.
You looked lovely, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
The long train on your dress was quite spectacular.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have pictures for
We do
x96.com/live.
not. I did not save any, but they are all up on my Instagram and my Facebook and Twitter. But I will be posting a bunch of them later on our stuff. As well.
Now, we kind of booked out of there pretty quick right after the ceremony.
yeah.
So I'm still expecting my 2 drinks.
Well,
I
that's
didn't,
your
my
fault.
2 free drinks.
That's not.
I didn't
that's-
use them, so.
Well,
So
you
I
had that
have them
whole
coming to
bottle
me.
of whiskey, that ginger whiskey you said you were going to share with me.
Oh, yeah, I
You had
just
that
kept
whole
that.
bottle. So there's your 2 drinks.
And then tell us about the food. What was the food like?
So we had these really great Wagyu beef meatballs that were actually really
meatballs.
spectacular.
Well,
But then we also had this halibut for these appetizers. It was this halibut with like this tzatziki sauce on it. Oh, it was phenomenal. And I loved the waitresses because I'm sitting up there getting all of the photos taken, just standing there in the snow. So I'm freezing. And all these waitresses are like sneaking up to me and they're like, here's this. And they kept handing me food. And I was like, you are phenomenal people.
Yeah, because a lot of times
I'm sorry, go ahead.
at your wedding, you don't get to eat.
That's all I've ever heard. And so I was like, I'm going to make an effort to actually eat this food.
Who made the food?
Mill Creek Inn.
They
They have
did?
their own
Okay.
personal chef.
Oh,
And-
okay.
yeah. And then there was like a caprese on a.
I like the
thing.
way it looked. You know, they had it all set up under the tents and
Yeah.
stuff. It looked very nice.
Yeah, we were trying to keep everybody dry as can be. Carrie held some lights over my head when I walked down the aisle with my dad.
It wasn't just that, Katie. I don't know if you know, Kerry Jackson saved the day.
Oh, with the with those lights
Every
being
member,
down,
every member of the
know.
wedding party came. Carrie noticed the first one, and he went and grabbed the lights. And
They
held
were
them.
hanging
Thank you.
low, and the first couple of people that came through were having to duck to go under these lights, and Carrie jumped up
with his
and-
beautiful umbrella.
and held the lights up.
Thank you, sir. I
No,
appreciate
no problem
that.
at all.
I said I think Carrie should have gotten a boutonniere for that.
I would
Something.
agree. Carrie should have gotten a boutonniere. Had I been able to come find you a little bit earlier because I wanted a photo with you guys.
Well,
But-
when we arrived, I went inside to try to find you, and there were.
I wish somebody had been like, "Hey, they're here." I would have happily like brought you guys back for a minute to
but
get
it was
a
just
photo. but-
everyone was inside because it was snowing,
I
and
know.
and it was just too many people in
Nope,
there, and
I
I just
get it.
couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So
That's kind
So
of
I
why I
backed
figured
out.
you guys kind of took
Yeah.
off as
and
soon
then
as you could. and
after the
stuff, so-
ceremony, again, everybody
wins.
went back inside, and I stepped in. I went toward the back to see if you were just back there shaking hands or
Yeah.
saying hi. But you were. I said, "Where is she?" And she's like, "Oh, she's in the back room changing." And I'm like, okay.
I wasn't.
I
changing.
gave
I
I
was not
gave
changing,
I
but
gave your husband a nice, you know.
He said you talked to him for a minute.
Yeah.
That was really sweet of you.
So there was just so many people in that small area
and
that
that's
it just.
that's exactly what I figured
No.
for you guys. And so I was like, they took off.
Sorry.
It's totally fine.
If it had been all outside and everything, we would would have been
If
there.
it had been as planned.
Yes.
Had been as planned.
Now, what's one thing that went wrong, spectacularly wrong?
Oh,
Anything?
I thought I lost a groomsman outfit. Straight up thought I lost a groomsman outfit. And I was like, all right, well, if we don't have it, we don't have it. Person's not in the wedding. Like, I was so done at that point. And my matron of honor best friend comes over. She goes, what are you doing on the phone? She realizes it's Andy on the phone. She goes, go away, grabs my phone, figures it all out with my husband.
Now,
and I got kicked into the bridal room.
Was there any thought, because it was cold and raining and even snowing, was there any thought of saying to the Universal Life Church guy who performed the ceremony, why don't you cut it a little bit?
I would have mentioned something had I seen him before the wedding or like before like the whole ceremony itself, which I hadn't.
It was it was nice,
but it was a little long.
It kind of went on.
It was a little long, but at the same time, I was okay with it. My bridesmaids and I were the ones freezing because we were the ones out in the snow.
Yeah, the men had jackets on and stuff.
Y'all were sleeveless.
And
they looked great, by the way. I thought all your bridesmaids had different kind of jewel-toned fall color dresses. They're very pretty.
Yeah, it was all dark rustic fall colors. I didn't want any of them to properly match, which is why all their hair was different. Their dresses were different, and then each of them for their gift was given a geometric style pendant of their favorite dinosaur.
Now who were you wearing?
Who are you wearing?
I don't know. Fantasy Bridal is who I was wearing.
You were wearing Fantasy. It was the designer.
That's where I got my dress. I don't know who the actual designer was.
Do you keep the dress?
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm actually possibly more than likely going to repurpose the dress into something a little bit shorter so I can actually wear again.
Part of that train would make really good rags to buff the wax on your car.
No, that train would make a beautiful shawl, just like the shawl my aunt made me.
There you go.
My aunt made me a beautiful Stevie Nicks shawl, which I didn't get to show you guys, but I was planning on wearing later on someday.
Now, so you didn't go on a honeymoon, really?
No, we kind of looked at Los Angeles as our honeymoon, but we're also saving up money to try and get out to Hawaii to go to where they filmed like Jurassic Park and stuff. Yeah, Kauai.
What's a beautiful place.
Yeah, and so
the Nepali coastline.
So we're saving up money from those that donated to our money fund and stuff to do that.
Well, that's what we did. So I'm expecting my thank you note.
Oh, don't you worry,
tomorrow.
they're coming. It's
Katie, don't worry about it. Whenever you get around to it, it's just
you guys accept. You guys just let people get away with stuff.
Now, see, here's the thing: is that E-Rock was the DJ.
Yes,
and I was hoping to get to hear him do some DJing, but I didn't. But he did play the exit music. Mm-hmm. And was I the only one that knew that was Star Wars music?
I think so.
No, my wife went, Star Wars?
When we announced the last name, not only a handful of people knew our last name. So when we announced our last name as husband and wife, that was for the first time of the families really knowing it or anything like that. And so I wanted...
really?
Most of my mom was the only one in my family that knew. But so that was kind of like the big announcement. And then we finished off with the epic Star Wars theme.
Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't obvious. It was very subtle, and that was great.
But it's also the song that makes Andy cry continuously.
Oh, that particular theme.
It's so good.
And also my wife, as we were walking to the car, said, thanks, now I got Star Wars going through my head all day.
There you go.
Also, subtle Jurassic Park music throughout as well.
Carrie noticed.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting those hints. And the song I walked down the aisle to was actually Come Little Children from Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
It was the piano version.
Now, was there any food left?
No, actually, everybody ate everything, which was pretty awesome. And not everybody showed up, which was kind of cool too, because less people, less money. Mm-hmm. But I also wasn't expecting as many tequila shots as were offered to me. It was a lot of tequila.
And
they're
Nick,
celebrating.
Nick, our coworker, Nick's your buddy, Nick's your pal. I asked him, "Did you make it up to the wedding?" And he said, "I got there just in time to see the groom cry."
Oh.
I know. I don't know what was he crying at some point about something.
Oh
no, not the groom. I'm sorry. It was your father.
My father.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did he cry at your toast?
So my dad. I've seen my dad cry a handful of times, and I mean like my entire life. I'm 27. A handful of times.
That's because he's a real man.
when we did our first look, he took one breath before he even stepped into the room and started crying. And then he couldn't even make it through the first sentence of his speech before choking up. And that has like never happened. So that was a really big like tear moment for us.
You're the only daughter he's given away?
I'm the only daughter. I mean, I have an adopted sister, but yeah, I'm the only daughter he's given away and walked down the aisle and stuff. So it was a big moment. It was really exciting. I'm also the first to get married of the kids. So does he have other daughters that might get married? my adopted sister, and we're waiting for that. I was dropping mega points to her boyfriend.
Will he cry when that happens too?
More than likely. More than likely.
And how are they about you changing your name to Solo?
I thought my dad was going to have more of an emotion about it. He's like, I think that's the coolest idea. And I was like, sweet.
Because Jones, I mean,
he agrees.
Jones
too many Joneses in the world. So many Joneses in the world. And he didn't blame me for not wanting to go into a Widener.
I think
Nothing
that's
wrong with the
fascinating.
name.
I think that's a really interesting thing to do. Did you just come up with that idea, or have you read about somebody
straight
else
up said
doing
it as a joke. He was like, we should just change our last name to Solo. And I was like, yeah.
Because you can do when you get married, you can.
As long as you have no felonies for reasoning to not change your name, you're totally fine to change your name. It's for marriage.
There you go.
And so
I
Andy
should
was
have
like,
gotten rid of Ralph.
Andy was like, wait, are you serious? You're really down for this? And I was like, yeah, let's do Solo. And then I bought our wine glasses, and he's like, it's done.
I guess this is happening.
Well, I'm glad it went well. It was the ceremony was just very nice.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There's a crash westbound Hinkley Drive, 1900 West. This is up in Weber County off to the right shoulder. Crash westbound I-80 ramp to go northbound 5600 West. This is in Salt Lake County, right shoulder affected there. And looks like that's about it. If you're seeing anything out there you think friends of the program need to know about, you can certainly text it to us, 33986. Gracie's is open daily for lunch and dinner, brunch Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Enjoy food, drinks, live music on their award-winning heated patio. Gracie's at the corner of 3rd Southwest Temple, adults only.
All right, you have boner candidates coming up. Here are the 3 that you will be voting for. Boner candidate number 1, that, my friend, is a 2-cup offense. Number 2, Governor DeSantis loves Thai food. And boner candidate number 3, a blatant attempt to suppress votes.
Boner of the day, big boy news, all coming up in the next break. Also a letter from our son Kyle and Tech Talk with Jonathan Deasing. Beat Gina on the way as well. Stand by for all of that. Hoops Vision Correction, HOOPES Vision.com.
$1,000 off. $1,000 off the procedure. The LASIK procedure at Hoops right now.
500 each eye?
Exactly. Carrie has done this procedure, the LASIK procedure, as have I, many of our family members, and it's simple to get your eyes correct.
You lay down for about 15 minutes, you wake up, you can see.
So now it's Halloween coming up. Wouldn't it be nice to not have glasses or contact lenses? So maybe there's still time before Halloween to get the LASIK procedure and not have to worry about glasses.
You can be a Ghostbuster besides Egon.
There you go. So leave your glasses and contacts behind. Hoops Vision is offering, again, I'll tell you, $1,000 off. That's unprecedented. $1,000 off. So book your free VIP LASIK consultation today. Call 877-30-LASIK, or you can book it online at hoopsvision.com.
Need to catch up on missed radio.